What separates a director whose films are so bad they become memes from someone who literally changed cinema forever? It's not just pointing a camera at stuff. It's a vision. It's evolution. It's knowing when to throw out the rulebook entirely. Today, we're ranking directors from absolute trash to GOAT status. Some of your favorites might not be where you think. Let's do this. Level 1. Trash tier. What if I told you some directors made entire careers out of films with 2% on Rotten Tomatoes and got rich doing it? Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer. These guys made a career, an entire career, out of parody movies that forgot the funny part. Date movie, epic movie, disaster movie, Meet the Spartans. Every single one is under 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. Epic movie has 2%. 2%. Their formula? Reference a popular movie. Add a fart joke. Roll credits. Someone dresses as Captain Jack Sparrow, and that is the punchline. Not a setup. The entire joke. But here's the thing nobody talks about. These films made money. Cost $20 to $30 million, made it back opening weekend before reviews could spread. They found a loophole where any recognizable title could trick people once. After 2010, studios finally stopped writing checks. Twitter killed their business model. You can't hide terrible reviews when everyone has a megaphone. Paul W.S. Anderson, not that Paul Anderson, we'll get to him, built his entire career on video game adaptations. The Resident Evil franchise made $1.2 billion across 6 movies. Every single one, worse than the last. He married Mila Jovovich and kept casting her in increasingly incomprehensible action sequences. Look, Anderson knows camera angles. He knows lighting. He's not incompetent. He's indifferent. He doesn't care about the story. Doesn't care about characters. Doesn't care if fans of the games are screaming into the void. He found a niche making B-movies with A-movie budgets and wrote it for 2 decades. That's not artistry. That's a business model. Level 2. Bad tier. These directors made legitimate masterpieces. Then they made films so catastrophically bad, you wonder if someone replaced them with an evil twin. M. Night Shyamalan. Specifically, 2006 to 2013. This one hurts. He made The Sixth Sense. 6 Oscar nominations, $672 million, Unbreakable, Signs. Both are genuinely good. He was supposed to be the next Spielberg. Then The Village had a twist you could see from orbit. Lady in the Water featured a film critic who gets killed because he didn't appreciate Shyamalan's genius. The director literally murders critics in his own movie. That's peak ego. The Happening had Mark Wahlberg having serious conversations with houseplants. But the real disaster? The Last Airbender, 5% on Rotten Tomatoes. He took one of the most beloved animated series ever and stripped everything that worked. Whitewashed Asian characters, mispronounced the main character's name, Aang, not Ong, for the entire runtime. Turned martial arts into people standing around explaining what just happened. What went wrong? He stopped listening, had Final Cut privileges, and used them to make increasingly self-indulgent films. He cast himself in Lady in the Water as a writer whose work would save humanity. The ego ate everything. Plot twist, though. He escaped. The Visit, Split, Servant. He came back by accepting smaller budgets and actually taking feedback. But for 7 years straight, he was the cautionary tale about how fast you can fall. Josh Trank directed Chronicle for $12 million, made $126 million, found footage superhero film, inventive, emotionally real. Fox immediately hired him for Fantastic Four. Should have been a slam dunk. Then he allegedly showed up drunk. Fought with producers. Trashed his rental house. Literally trashed it. The studio took the film away in post-production. Fantastic Four got 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. Lost over $100 million. He hasn't directed anything major since 2015. That's almost a decade. Bad tier directors have the fundamentals. They know coverage, pacing, blocking. They just make catastrophically bad creative decisions or burn every bridge in Hollywood. Sometimes both. Level 3. Middle tier. These directors have made billions. Quick, name one memorable shot from their movies. Can't do it, can you? Roland Emmerich is the king of disaster porn. Independence Day made $817 million. Massive 90s phenomenon. Then he made the same movie again, and again, and again. Godzilla. The Day After Tomorrow. 2012. White House down. Same formula every time. Massive destruction. Cardboard characters. America saves the day. The White House exploding on Independence Day is iconic. But once the buildings fall, there's nothing underneath. No depth, no themes, no reason to ever watch twice. Empty calories in movie form. He's been making the same film for 30 years with zero personal voice. It's like recognizing the difference between McDonald's and Burger King. Technically different, functionally identical. MKG, yes, that's his actual directing name, made Charlie's Angels for $264 million. All that kinetic music video energy. Then Charlie's Angels, Full Throttle. Just more of the same. Then Terminator Salvation, which failed to revive the franchise. He came from commercials. You can tell. His films look expensive and slick but feel completely hollow. He knows how to make things look good, just not how to make you care. Remember when Christian Bale went off on that cinematographer during Terminator Salvation? That leaked audio? More memorable than anything in the actual movie. The middle tier is where most working directors live. They're employable. They finish on time. They don't embarrass studios. But nobody's studying their work in film school. They're just there. Level 4, OK tier. Jon Watts made Marvel $3.9 billion. Then he tried making his own movie outside the system. Apple immediately killed the theatrical release. What does that tell you? Jon Watts directed the MCU Spider-Man trilogy, $3.9 billion combined. Homecoming reinvented Spider-Man as an actual teenager for once. No Way Home brought back Tobey and Andrew in this massive multiversal event. Watts can handle enormous budgets, complex action, studio oversight. He balances humor with genuine emotion. But here's the problem. His visual style is completely indistinguishable from the Marvel house style. You couldn't look at a single frame and identify it as a Jon Watts shot. He's executing someone else's vision. Really well? Sure. Kevin Feige produces, Marvel's story group maps everything out, Watts delivers. When he tried making Wolves outside Marvel, Apple pulled the theatrical release. So who is he as a director? We still don't know. Peyton Reed took over Ant-Man after Edgar Wright walked, made $519 million. Entertaining, forgettable. He directed 2 sequels. Both were successful, both instantly forgotten. His entire career has been stepping in when someone else quits. OK tier is Hollywood's most valuable asset. Reliable professionals who won't embarrass anyone. They make billions for studios. Their films vanish from culture within months. But hey, they're making money. So who's really winning? Level 5, good tier. Half the audience thinks these directors are geniuses. The other half thinks they ruined their childhood. There's no middle ground. Matt Reeves made Cloverfield for $25 million, earned $170 million, completely reinvented found footage horror. Then War for the Planet of the Apes, motion capture epic with real emotion. Then The Batman, $770 million. Redefined the character as detective noir instead of action hero. Shot it like a 70s crime thriller. All atmosphere, minimal spectacle. 3 hours, barely any action. The audience ate it up. What keeps him in a good tier instead of great? He's still building his legacy. 3 franchises show consistency. But he hasn't made that film yet. The definitive masterpiece. He's the director everyone's watching right now. The one who might break through. He just hasn't done it yet. Rian Johnson made Brick, high school noir that announced his voice immediately. Then Looper, smart sci-fi that respects your intelligence. Then The Last Jedi, $1.3 billion, the most divisive Star Wars film ever made. He deconstructed the entire mythology, killed Snoke without explanation, gave Luke this controversial arc. Half the fanbase called it brilliant. The other half said he destroyed their childhood. Regardless of where you stand, it's undeniably a director putting his stamp on a massive franchise. Then Knives Out, $40 million budget, $311 million earned, Oscar-nominated. Glass Onion proved it wasn't a fluke. He created a franchise from the original IP. That's basically impossible now. Johnson's limitation is his strength. He's polarizing, makes bold swings that alienate as many people as they excite. Good tier means you're making people feel something, even if half of them hate what you did. Level 6, great tier. James Cameron waited 12 years to make Avatar because the technology didn't exist yet. Then he invented it himself. That's a great tier. But why isn't it GOAT? James Cameron directed The Terminator for $6.4 million, made $78 million, announced himself as a visionary. Aliens proved he could own someone else's franchise. T2 revolutionized digital effects with the T-1000. Then Titanic. Everyone, and I mean everyone, said it would bomb. Months over schedule. Way over budget. A disaster movie where everyone knows the ending. $2.2 billion. 11 Oscars. Cultural phenomenon. People saw it multiple times in theaters. Cameron waited 12 years to make Avatar because the technology didn't exist yet. He invented new camera systems, pioneered performance capture, created an entire language. Avatar made $2.9 billion, held the box office record until Endgame. Then Cameron re-released it and took the record back. Absolute legend move. What keeps him from GOAT? His films are technical marvels, but thematically simple. Avatar is Pocahontas in space. His dialogue can be genuinely terrible. His characters are often archetypes, not complex humans. He pushes technology forward, not necessarily storytelling. Ridley Scott directed Alien and Blade Runner back-to-back, two of the most influential science fiction films ever made. He pioneered the used future aesthetic, spaceships that look industrial and dirty, not clean and pristine, both divisive on release, both masterpieces now. Gladiator brought back sword and sandal epics. Black Hawk Down was visceral war filmmaking. The Martian proved he could do humor. He's been directing for 45 years with remarkable consistency. But Scott also made Prometheus, asked fascinating questions, answered literally none of them. Alien. Covenant killed off Prometheus characters off-screen like they never mattered. Exodus whitewashed ancient Egypt. The Last Duel was brilliant. Nobody saw it. He's made 28 films. At least a third are mediocre. His genius is undeniable. He just doesn't have that perfect track record. David Fincher has never made a bad film. Gone Girl, The Social Network, Zodiac, C7N, Fight Club. Every single one is great or an outright masterpiece. He demands 50 to 70 takes, controls every frame. You know a Fincher film instantly. The Social Network captured how an entire generation relates to technology and ambition. Zodiac is the definitive film about obsession. Fight Club became a cultural touchstone people still quote and debate. What keeps him from GOAT? Volume. 11 features in 30 years. Spielberg made 34, Scorsese made 26. His perfectionism slows him down. And while every film is excellent, he hasn't made that one transcendent masterpiece defining an entire era the way Jaws or The Godfather did. Level 7. GOAT tier. Hitchcock was abusive. Kubrick tortured his actors. Coppola went bankrupt. And yet, every single director after them had to deal with what they achieved. That's the GOAT tier. Alfred Hitchcock. 53 features across 6 decades. Invented techniques we still use. The dolly zoom in Vertigo, the shower scene in Psycho, the crop duster in North by Northwest. Nobody understood suspense better. Nobody. Psycho cost $800,000, killed off the star 30 minutes in, changed horror forever. Rear Window kept James Stewart in one room for the entire film. One room. The whole movie. Vertigo was dismissed by critics initially. Now it ranks as one of cinema's greatest achievements. Dark truth, though, Hitchcock was abusive toward his actresses, especially Tippi Hedren. He created masterpieces while behaving like a monster. The industry ignored it for decades because the films were too important. GOAT status doesn't mean perfect behavior. It means undeniable influence. Every thriller, every horror film, every suspense sequence owes something to Hitchcock. He proved cinema could be art and commerce simultaneously. Akira Kurosawa made 30 films that influenced literally everyone who came after. Seven Samurai became The Magnificent Seven. Yojimbo became A Fistful of Dollars. Rashomon invented the unreliable narrator. Kurosawa understood composition better than almost anyone who's ever lived. George Lucas based Star Wars on the Hidden Fortress. Modern action choreography? Kurosawa invented it. He struggled with depression, attempted suicide, couldn't get funding in his later years. Hollywood respected him but wouldn't give him money. He made Ran at 75 with French financing. An epic King Lear adaptation for $12 million proved his powers hadn't diminished at all. Francis Ford Coppola, The Godfather and Part 2, two of the greatest films ever made. Part 2 is still the only sequel to win Best Picture. Then, Apocalypse Now nearly killed him physically and financially. Complete disaster production. Martin Sheen had a heart attack on set. Typhoons destroyed everything. Coppola mortgaged his house to finish it. The result? A masterpiece. Captured Vietnam War madness like nothing before or since. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Iconic. The troubled production became as legendary as the film itself. He also made The Conversation, paranoid surveillance thriller that predicted modern privacy issues. He was the American director of the 70s. Then One from the Heart bankrupted him. Spent 30 years making films for hire just to pay off debt. Here's what's wild. He's still trying. At 85, he self-financed Megalopolis for $120 million. Sold his winery to fund it. The film divided critics. It flopped. But that ambition, that refusal to play it safe, that willingness to risk everything, that's the GOAT mentality, even when the film doesn't work. Steven Spielberg invented the modern blockbuster with Jaws. defined childhoods with E.T., Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, made prestige dramas like Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan, Lincoln. 19 Oscar nominations across 34 films. His versatility is unmatched. He can make a crowd-pleasing adventure and a devastating Holocaust film. Pioneered the summer release strategy Hollywood still uses. His films grossed over $10 billion. You literally cannot understand modern cinema without understanding Spielberg's influence. Period. Stanley Kubrick. 13 features, every single one studied in film schools worldwide. He pioneered Steadicam in The Shining, shot Barry Lyndon entirely by candlelight using NASA lenses. 2001 predicted space travel before the moon landing and still looks better than most modern CGI. Kubrick's films grow in stature over time. The Shining was divisive on release. Now it's one of horror's greatest. 2001 confused audiences in 1968. Now it's visionary. A Clockwork Orange was so controversial, it got pulled from UK theaters. Now it's essential cinema. Dark Side? Kubrick was abusive. Shelley Duvall endured 127 takes of the baseball bat scene, while Kubrick deliberately tried to break her emotionally. He created masterpieces through cruelty. Goat tier means you changed cinema permanently. Kubrick proved films could be philosophical texts, visual poems, and technical marvels all at once. Every director after him had to deal with what he achieved. Look, this hierarchy shows something uncomfortable. Talent alone isn't enough. The greatest directors didn't just make great films. They literally changed how every filmmaker after them approaches the medium. They created cultural moments that transcend generations. But you know what's even worse than a bad director? A terrible actor in a great director's film. Because at least a bad director ruins their own movie. A terrible actor can destroy a masterpiece. And some of Hollywood's biggest names are way worse than you think. I ranked all 7 levels of terrible actors, and your favorite is definitely on this list. Watch it by clicking a video in the top left corner.